Okay, guys. So we'll start. Fine. Just pay attention to the theory first. If you have any doubts, you can type in the chat, but don't spam in the chat because I will not be able to respond to everyone, right? So just try and pay attention what we are doing. We'll start off with triangle inequality. Okay. So what I'm assuming that you already know in this class. Before that, let me just tell you what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that you already know basics of congruency and similarity of triangles, right? I'm sure everyone knows criteria for congruency and similarity, right? So basically, congruent triangles are when triangles are exactly alike. Similar triangles are when they are proportional. They might have different size, but they are proportional. And similarity and congruency, there are 3, 4 criteria that you need to know. Every standard book on geometry has them. And once you know them, like we will be using certain facts from there when we do our questions, right? So we'll start off with some very basic theorems. The first thing is, if two sides of a triangle are unequal unequal, then the greater then the longer side has the greater angle opposite to it. Longer side has the greater angle opposite to it. Now everyone, I'm not sure if everyone knows this theorem, but if you don't know it, you need to know it and you need to know why, right? So most of the time, you might know the result, but you don't know the proof. So it is important to know the proofs as well. So two sides of a triangle are unequal, then the longer side has greater angle opposite to it. How will we prove this? So let's say this is a triangle ABC, right? A, B, C. Now obviously you can see that AB is smaller than AC. The theorem is saying that AB is smaller than AC, then the longer side has bigger angle here. So we have to prove that angle B is greater than angle C, given AB is less than AC, right? So how do we do this? So there is a very standard method. Yeah. So uh, some people know that you construct a length, right? You construct a point here D and you join this and you say that this is, let's say this is equal to this, right? If you construct such a triangle ABD where AD is equal to AB, that is an isosceles triangle, right? So this angle here is equal to this angle here. So you can call that X and X, right? Once we know that these two angles are equal, we can say that you also know exterior angle theorem. And from exterior angle theorem, you know that exterior angle of any triangle is equal to the interior opposite angles, the sum of the interior opposite angles, right? So angle ADB will be equal to angle, if ADB is the exterior angle, it will be equal to this plus this, right? It will be equal to angle B or angle DBC. I'll just write it like that. Angle DBC plus angle DCB. DBC plus DCB, right? Now, once you know this, what can you say? You can say that ADB is clearly greater than DCB, right? Angle ADB is definitely greater than angle DCB, right? Now, if you know angle ADB is greater, you know angle ADB is equal to this, right? Angle ADB is equal to angle ABD. So you have proved angle ABD is greater than angle DCB, and DCB is basically angle C, right? DCB is angle C, and you know that ABD is greater than angle C. That just means that this angle ABC, obviously angle ABC is greater than angle ABD, and therefore that implies that angle B is greater than angle C. So we have proved what we wanted to prove. It's a very simple proof. Many of you might already know this, but I just wanted to mention because these types of proofs are useful when you try to prove, say, triangle inequality, which we'll see just now. So the next thing that I want to see Second thing is the converse of this. Converse of this says that greater angle has greater side opposite to it. Greater side opposite to it, which is just the opposite of the theorem that we just now saw, right? I will not prove it. You can do it yourself. And now the third thing, which is called the triangle inequality, and it is very important. You will find that this inequality is even important in other topics of maths. So sometimes you will see that in complex numbers, later when you do algebra a little bit, in complex numbers also triangle inequality is super important. So what is the triangle inequality saying? It says that sum of any two sides of a triangle, sum of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side, is greater than the third side. So again, the proof of this is similar to what we just now did. I will see if you guys know the proof, otherwise I don't need to do the proof, right? So somebody is saying, why waste precious time on it? So if everyone knows the proof, I'll not do the proof, right? Okay, fine. So I will not do this proof. You can find it in any standard book, right? So triangle inequality, sum of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side. Now, using this property and triangle inequality, can you prove this statement? The question is this. I'll just write the question here. Any two sides of a triangle, any two sides of a triangle are together greater than twice the median drawn to the third side. Twice the median drawn to the third side. So what is the statement of this theorem actually meaning? Like if you have a random triangle here, ABC, let's say this is A, this is B, this is C. I draw a median. Everyone should know what a median means. Median is a line from the vertex to the opposite midpoint. So this is my median. What I have to prove is any two sides is greater than twice median drawn to the third side. This is BC is the third side, median is AD. You have to prove AB plus AC is greater than 2AD, right? So if you guys know how to prove this, just tell me in the chat. Correct. One person is asking a lot, sir, how will we prove that sum of two angles is smaller than the third angle? That is super easy, guys. If sum of two angles is smaller than the third angle, then what is the total sum of the triangle's angles? If angle A plus angle B is less than angle C, right? What will be the total sum of the triangle's angles? So you can say that angle A plus angle B plus angle C will be equal to 180, and you can say this side is, this is less than angle C. So this is less than 2 times angle C, right? So this 180 is less than 2 times angle C. So what is the question actually? The person who is asking this question, you're getting C is greater than 90. So what is the question he's asking? Can't. You cannot make a triangle like this, 120, 30, 30. Who is saying it can't be done, dude? Yeah, it is a wrong question. So obviously you can make a triangle 120, 30, 30, you know. Please don't ask wrong questions. Yeah. Anyway, we are distracted here. What we can say here is that we'll extend this AD and make another triangle where we'll extend it such that DF. Somebody has already said the solution. So we'll extend it to F another point and join this. And we'll prove that this is congruent to this. We'll prove it congruent by SAS congruency. This is done by construction, and you can prove congruency because it is a median by SAS congruency. And then you can show that this will be true, right? So, okay, so you guys are familiar with basic triangle inequality and identities like that. So what we will go on to next is midpoint theorem and some applications. Midpoint theorem, everyone is knowing midpoint theorem, I think. Midpoint theorem just says that if you have a triangle where you join the midpoints of two sides, join the midpoints of two sides, points of two sides, then the line joining will be parallel to the third side, and equal to half of the length of the third side, and half the length. So midpoint theorem and basic proportionality theorem. Basic proportionality theorem says what? That if you draw a line parallel to the base of a triangle, then it divides both the other sides in the same ratio, right? Basic proportionality theorem says that if you have a triangle like this, if you draw a line parallel like this, which is parallel to the base, then if this is BC, this is DE, then you will get AD by DB will always be equal to AE by EC, right? So this is called basic proportionality theorem, and the converse of this is also true. That means that if someone says that I have drawn a line which cuts two sides of a triangle and the ratio in which it cuts the sides is same, then that means that the line is parallel to the base of the triangle. So for both midpoint theorem and basic proportionality theorem, converse is also true. That is a very important fact that everyone must know. And again, the proof is in standard textbooks, so we'll not discuss the proof so much because otherwise it will be a waste of our time, I think. Correct. So yes, we are going to do SOT. We'll do all of SOT. So solution of triangle. SOT is solution of triangles. Properties of triangle, solution of triangles. So correct. So now somebody was asking theorems like, okay, before we go there, we'll do internal angle bisector theorem. This theorem anybody knows? Internal angle bisector theorem. Okay, so I will tell you the theorem that if you have a triangle like this, ABC, and you draw an internal angle bisector. What is an internal angle bisector? We say this angle is A, let's say we bisect that angle. Basically, this is half, this is half. So this will be A by 2 and this will be A by 2. So the theorem says that the internal angle bisector meets the other side, let's say at D. What it says is that BD by DC, or the way D divides the base, is the same ratio of this side by this side. So basically, BD by DC will be equal to AB by AC. Now, how do we do that? How do we do this proof? So what we'll just show the proof for this briefly because some people might not know, right? So there is a construction here also. You will construct a side CE which is parallel to this DA, right? So I will draw a different figure. So let's say this is my triangle and I make a bisector like this, right? A, B, C. What, and this is my D point, let's say. This is a bisector, so this angle and this angle are equal, right? So now what we will do is we'll draw another line which is parallel to DA. So let's draw another line which is parallel to DA like this, right? And we will extend this to meet that line. We'll extend this side BA, we'll extend it like this, and it will meet it somewhere here, right? Let's call that point E, right? What I have done, I have constructed CE parallel to DA, right? Now we will use basic proportionality theorem And basic proportionality theorem says that if you construct a line parallel to the base, now here you so know that AD is a line which is parallel to the base in triangle BCE. Then what we know from that is that angle here, this angle should be equal to this angle because it is corresponding angles, and also this angle should be equal to this angle because it is also corresponding angles, right? But we already know that this angle, let's call it 1, and this angle is 2. 1 is equal to 2 because it is a bisector, and this is 4, and let's say this is correct. This is alternate interior angle. I should have labeled it like this. I will say 2 is equal to this, right? 2 is equal to this because this line is parallel and this is a transversal. So alternate interior angles. So this is called 3, right? Once you have that, you can show that AC is equal to AE. Why? Because you can prove that this is equal to this. Because 1 is equal to 2, 1 is equal to 4, and 2 is equal to 3. Therefore, 3 is equal to 4, right? And if 3 is equal to 4, you have isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle. Therefore, AC will be equal to AE. Once you have that, we'll use basic proportionality theorem now, and we'll say BD by DC should be equal to BA by AE because it is in triangle BCE. So BD by DC will be equal to BA by AE, and you can say BA by AE is equal to BA by AC, right? So we have proved what we wanted to prove, that when you join the internal angle bisector to the opposite side, it meets the opposite side at point D, and the ratio in which BC side is divided, which is equal to BD by DC, is equal to the ratio of the sides containing that angle, which is AB by AC. So this is the statement of your internal angle bisector theorem. You need to know this because it is going to be useful in the future. When we do properties of triangle, it will be useful. So similarly, there is external angle bisector theorem also, but we are not going to worry about that right now. You can find it in Pathfinder. Okay, Pathfinder senior book, you can find it. So you will be able to understand that proof as well. So what I will do now is look at a little bit of basic trigonometry because we need that for properties of triangles. So sine rule and cosine rule, right? So some of you might be aware of sine rule and cosine rule, but you might just know it as a fact, but you might not know the proof of the statement, right? So how do you know the proof of the statement here? So for example, sine rule, we have a triangle like this, okay? A, B, C, right? Now, before we discuss sine rule, you need to know what a circumcircle is. What is a circumcircle? Please stop typing on the screen. Don't make pink lines on the screen, because if you do that, I will not be able to teach. What is a circumcircle? Circumcircle is a circle that passes through all the three vertices. That passes through all the three vertices of a triangle, right? And the radius of that circle, the radius of the circle is called capital R and is known as circumradius. Circumradius. And the center of the circle is called circumcenter, right? Center of the circle is called circumcenter. How do we construct a circumcircle of a triangle? How do we construct circumcircle? Does anyone know? Like I have got this triangle ABC right now in the figure, right? You can see the figure. Here, what will we do to construct circumcircle? Perpendicular bisectors, correct. So what I will do is bisect each of those perpendiculars. So bisect each of the sides. So BC side, if I make a perpendicular bisector, bisector means it has to pass from the midpoint. So let's make a line like this, which is perpendicular and passing from the midpoint. And here also midpoint and make a perpendicular. And also the third one, it will be found that all three will intersect at one point, and this point is your circumcenter. why is this point the circumcenter? Like, who told you that y perpendicular? Yeah, exactly. Why is this point important? Intersection point of perpendicular bisectors. Because you can do congruent triangles, right? Like you can do this, you can join this and join this, and you can prove that this triangle is congruent to this triangle, right? Correct. By SAS congruency, you can prove, right? I hope everyone understands how you can prove congruency here. This is 90 by construction, this is 90 degree, this is common side and SAS congruency. And because you have congruency, if you label this point as O, if you label this point as O, what will happen is OB will be equal to OC. Okay, if you want to repeat the construction, you just have to draw perpendicular bisectors, guys. So take each side and draw perpendicular bisectors. So I will write it here. So A, B, C, bisect each side and make perpendiculars, and make one more, bisect this side, make perpendiculars. They will intersect at a point. This point is O. Join OB, join OC. You can prove by SAS congruency that ODB is congruent to ODC. And because it is congruent, OB is equal to OC. And similarly, you can do the third bisector also, right? Similarly, you can do the third bisector also, because what you will do is if you draw a third bisector here, it will also pass through O, and you can say in this triangle OA will be equal to OB, because this point you can prove perpendicular bisector here. So triangle AOE will be congruent to OBE, right? Correct. So once you do that, you realize that this point O is special. This point O is special because it is such a point that OA is equal to OB is equal to OC, right? So since it is equidistant from all the three vertices, this O point is the center. O is the center of the circle, center. And therefore your OA is equal to OB is equal to OC length will be equal to your circumradius, right? Once you have this as the circumradius, now we are ready to do sine rule. So I will draw a new figure and we'll see what sine rule is. So we'll say this is my triangle A, B, C, right? Now in this triangle, let's say I draw one perpendicular bisector here. This is 90, this is half, this is half, and one more perpendicular bisector here, and this point is O. This is half half, right? This is O. Now, since O is the circumcenter, we can draw a circle that passes through the vertices, all the three vertices, and has center at O. So this is my circumcircle roughly. Don't worry about the figure so much, but you understand that this is the circumcircle. Because OA is equal to OB is equal to OC, we have seen, right? Now, have you heard of the theorem in circles where you say that inscribed angle at the center is twice of the angle at any point on the circle, any point on the circle, right? So think about it now. Since O is the center, I will join O to B and O to C. And now I will say that O is the center, and this BC is a chord. BC is a chord, and the chord subtends some angle at the center. I don't know this angle, but I know for sure that this angle at the center will be double of whatever BC chord subtends at a circumference point. So notice that BC chord is subtending angle A here, right? A. So therefore, this angle will be equal to 2A, right? This angle should be equal to 2A because of inscribed angle theorem, right? And if it is inscribed angle theorem and if it is 2A, now we already know that OBD triangle, OBD is congruent to triangle OCD by SAS. You can do that. It's SAS congruency. Therefore, angle here will be half. So this angle is A and this angle is A, right? Both the angles are A and A. Now notice that you have a triangle here, which is a 90-degree triangle, right angle triangle OBD. And in that triangle, what we can do is, I hope you can hear me, guys. Everyone can hear me, right? Okay, okay. Because someone was saying that they can't hear me or something. Yeah. So now in triangle OBD, we can say that there is, okay, I'll draw the triangle separately here. So I'll draw triangle OBD here on the side and we'll see what that means. Look at triangle OBD. I'm just writing OBD here. And this is 90-degree. We know that this is A, right? It's a right angle triangle and OB is called capital R. Capital R was the radius of this circle. OB is called capital R, radius of the circle. And now what we'll do is sine of angle A. Sine A is equal to what? It is going to be perpendicular by hypotenuse. So it will be BD by OA and BD by OA. And what is BD? What is BD? BD is half of BC, right? BC by 2 by OA, right? So it is BC by 2 OA. That is equal to your sine of A, right? And BC, generally convention is that you call the side opposite to the angle is called small letter A. So angle A is here, then this is called side A, and angle B is here, then this will be called side B, small b, and this will be called side small c. So you will say BC is just A and OA is 2R, right? So you will get the proof that sine A is equal to A by 2R, right? In a similar manner, you can show that sine B will become B by 2R and sine C is equal to C by 2R. So finally, what we will say is A by sine A is equal to B by sine B is equal to C by sine C is equal to 2 capital R. So this is your sine rule, right? This is sine rule. Now, obviously, some people here might have an issue with this because they might not know sine, what is sine, right? If you don't know what sine means, you need to do your 9th and 10th standard maths. 9th and 10th standard has trigonometry in all boards. You need to just look at that right angle triangle, sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. What are the definitions, right? But for this class, we need to assume certain things. So this is your sine rule we have just now proved by geometry. Now, what is cosine rule? So let's look at a triangle again, ABC. This is your triangle ABC. This side is called A, this side is called C, this side is called B, right? Now, in cosine rule, we'll drop a perpendicular from A to the opposite side, right? This perpendicular is being dropped here. Let's label this point as D, right? So now if you have labeled this point as D, this angle, notice, is angle B, and in triangle ABD, notice that there is a smaller triangle as a part of the big triangle, right? So this small triangle is ABD, and in this small triangle, this is a 90-degree triangle. Therefore, we can say that BD length is what? BD length will be C cos B. If you think about it, cos B is what? Cos B is BD by AB, right? And AB is called C. So C into BD by C. So that is going to be BD, right? So it is C cos B here. And if this is C cos B, obviously this remaining side will be A minus C cos B, right? Because the whole length was called A, correct? And if this is A minus C cos B, let's also find out what is AD. AD will be C sine B. You can think about it. Sine B is AD by AD by AB, and into C will be C sine B, right? So this is C sine B, this is A minus C cos B. And what we will do is now Pythagoras theorem in triangle ACD. Triangle ACD, Pythagoras. So just do Pythagoras theorem in triangle ACD. You can say that B square is equal to C sine B whole square plus A minus C cos B whole square, right? So that is a very straightforward thing. Once you do that, you will get b square. Just expand this, you will get b square is equal to c square sine square b plus a square plus c square cos square b minus 2ac cos b. And that becomes c square plus a square minus 2ac cos b. That is your cosine rule, right? Now, a cosine rule is generally formulated in a slightly different way. So if you write cos b, you isolate cos b on one side and you write it as c square plus a square minus b square by 2ac, right? Similarly, you can say cos c will be a square plus b square minus c square by 2ab and so on, right? Correct. So before we move ahead, Aradhya Jain, why are you requesting remote control of my screen? Please stop requesting that. I am declining that request. Don't request again. If you control the screen, you will have to take the lecture. So, right. Somebody is saying, sir, AD can be found by Stewart theorem, right? So, Stewart theorem we will discuss now after this, okay? So, Stewart theorem is not more basic than cosine rule. How do you get Stewart's theorem, by the way? Whoever is saying Stewart's theorem is derived by cosine rule. How do you prove Stewart's theorem? Yeah. No, Pythagoras theorem you cannot do. You cannot just do Pythagoras theorem and do Stewart's theorem. We'll have to use cosine rule somewhere. Maybe there is an alternate proof for Stewart's theorem, but the proof that I know about Stewart's theorem has cosine rule in it. That's why I'm not using that, right? So just relax, guys. Everyone, just relax and see what I'm teaching you. After that, we can discuss doubts, right? We will do the doubts and all. If you have some doubts, we'll answer them, but you don't have to be in such a rush. Just chill out for a bit. Cheva and Menelau's theorem we'll do in probably the second class. Someone is saying show the last slide. There is no last slide. What is the doubt? Tell me the doubt. Cosine rule statement I'm explaining. Just pay attention here. This is the statement of cosine rule. So in any triangle here, this is A, this is B, this is C, right? Now cosine rule says that cos of any angle here, cos of A will be equal to B square plus C square minus A square by 2BC. B square plus C square minus A square by 2BC, right? So remember the pattern here. The pattern is included sides, you square them, add them, and subtract the opposite side square divided by 2BC, right? So similarly here you can say cos B will be equal to A square plus C square minus B square by 2AC. This is the statement of cosine rule. You don't need any other statement. Whoever is wanting to use Stewart's theorem there, it is like using a cannon to shoot a fly. Why will you want to do Stewart's theorem to find out this length, dude? Like this is a right angle triangle, this is a side, and this is an angle. You'll do Stewart's theorem here. Like I can do calculus to add numbers, but I'll not do that. No, don't do such things. Just say C cos B and all. Yeah, anyway, I will discuss Stewart's theorem. Don't worry about it. So right now what we know two things: sine rule, cosine rule, right? Now from here, we will derive everything, right? We'll derive everything that is required about triangles. So for example, if this is a triangle, what we will say is, let's label this, let's say A, let's say B, let's say C. So some properties of triangle theorems we'll see. Yes, I agree that Stewart's theorem is very useful. Sauradeep, I like Stewart's theorem, man. I'm on your side here, but it's not useful to do perpendiculars in a right angle triangle. It's very useful. I also agree. Yeah. So let's go on. Just let me finish what I want to say. After that, everyone can ask their doubts, right? I want to say many things. Just relax for a bit. And Usoshi Chakrabarti, please don't request remote control of my screen. Right. Okay. So what I want to do first before going ahead is look at some basic things. Area of a triangle, Heron's formula, everyone knows. S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. Here S is what? S is semi-perimeter. 2S is equal to A plus B plus C, right? So once you know these two formulas, what we will do is get some basic results in trigonometry that is useful for us in the future, right? So what I want to do is say use cosine rule to figure out, use cosine rule to find out what is sine of a by 2, cos of a by 2, etc. in terms of side lengths, right? So what is this? Sir, do we have to remember these results? We do not have any option. Okay. You don't have to remember these results. You will have enough practice. When you solve questions, you will use them so many times that you don't have to specifically sit down and mug it up, right? So don't worry about it right now. Just right now focus on understanding what is happening. I will tell you where to practice it from. Where to practice it from is SL Loney chapter 12 and chapter 15. Okay. If you can do SL Loney chapter 12 and chapter 15, then it will be fine. Everything will be fine. So all that I'm teaching is from SL Loney, right? Just do the exercises, chapter 12 and chapter 15. Okay. Anyway, now sin a by 2, cos a by 2, I want to derive, right? So I know cosine rule. I know cos a is equal to b square plus c square minus a square by 2bc, right? So from this cos a, we can say that there is an identity in trigonometry, a basic identity. Cos a is equal to cos square a by 2 minus sine square a by 2. Okay. This identity we will use to derive it. So we'll say that this is 2 cos square a by 2 minus 1, right? Cos a is equal to 2 cos square a by 2 minus 1. Now, if someone doesn't know this, what you need to know is how to get the formula for cos a plus b and sine a plus b. There is a geometric proof of cos a plus b and sine a plus b formulas. Once you know that formula, you can just do b is equal to a and you will get the result for cos 2a will become equal to cos a minus sine a, right? So you will get cos 2a is equal to cos square a minus sine square a. So I will not get into that. That stuff you will find in standard book. So I'll not get into that. I will use directly the identity cos a is equal to 2 cos square a by 2 minus 1. Therefore, what you can do is 1 plus cos a by 2 is equal to cos square a by 2, right? And now we use cosine rule here. Cos a is equal to b square plus c square minus a square by 2bc. And when you do 1 plus cos a here, anyone who is abusing stuff and all here, no, I'll kick them out of the meeting. Like whoever is using bad language here and whatever you are doing, just stop, okay? So just calm down and you'll be kicked out of the meeting otherwise. I mean, I don't have control. I would have kicked them out already, but somebody else, the admin should kick them out. So whoever is the host, please do that. Who is this O person? Okay. Like, please kick this person out. Yeah. I don't think he should be here. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. 1 plus cos A, guys. Focus on the maths. Don't worry about whatever people are talking about. 1 plus cos A here is 1 plus b square plus c square minus a square by 2bc. And once you do this, you'll get b plus c whole square minus a square by 2bc. And then you can make it b plus c plus a and b plus c minus a by using the a square minus b square formula, right? So what I'm just doing here is I'm finding out 1 plus cos A. And everyone can understand this hopefully, right? 2bc comes here, it becomes b plus c whole square minus a square, and this is what is happening. And now I need 1 plus cos a by 2, right? So 1 plus cos a by 2 will be b plus c plus a multiplied by b plus c minus a by 4bc, right? And that is my cos square a by 2. Now b plus c plus a can be known as 2s, and b plus c minus a is 2s minus 2a, right? Because 2s is a plus b plus c, and 2s minus 2a will be b plus c minus a. So what you will get is s into s minus a by bc is equal to cos square a by 2, and therefore cos a by 2 will come out as, this is a standard formula that right now might feel like weird and all, you might not remember it right now, but don't worry about it, you will have to use it so many times that you will remember it eventually. Why 4bc? Why 4bc? Because cos square a by 2 is 1 plus cos a by 2. So 2bc by 2, right? The guy is back. You can't stop me. Great. Just ignore him, guys. Everyone just ignore him. Yeah. Yeah. So you get cos a by 2 is equal to this. And similarly, you can do sine a by 2 also. You can use the formula sine a by 2. Since cos a is equal to cos square a by 2 minus sine square a by 2, you can say that this is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square a by 2. That is your cos a, and therefore sine a by 2 will be equal to root over 1 minus cos a whole divided by 2, right? This is your sine a by 2, right? And I will use a similar result here. I will again put cos a as b square plus c square minus a square by 2bc. So if I have to do sine a by 2 is equal to 1 minus cos a by 2 is equal to 1 minus b square plus c square minus a square by 2bc by 2. And you will prove eventually that it will be s minus b, s minus c by bc. So these results are standard results in solutions of triangle, where you are able to now express cos a by 2, sine a by 2 in terms of the side lengths. So here it was s minus a by bc. Here it is root over s minus b, s minus c by bc, right? And similarly, you should understand the pattern here. So if I had to ask cos b by 2, I would say root over s minus b by, so I'm matching the capital B here with the small b here. And notice that since it was the other two sides in the denominator, here it will be AC. And if I have to ask sine C by 2, for example, I will do S minus A, S minus B by AB, right? Because notice the pattern here. When it was A by 2, I did the other two sides on the top here and BC. So A and B here because it was capital C by 2. So understand this pattern. And once we know these 2-3 formulas, we are good to go. Now, if you know cos A by 2, sine A by 2, you can do tan A by 2, right? Tan A by 2 is obvious. You'll just divide, right? So you'll find those. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because sometimes in IOQM and RMO questions, you might face a random geometry question which has a solution by pure geometry, but the pure geometry solution is hard to find, right? So sometimes you can just bash it through trigonometry. Right? Let's draw two perpendiculars, right? You will be able to get a congruent triangle situation happening. A, B, C, right? 1 second, guys. I have to deal with this guy. One second, I will disable annotations. Yeah. Yeah, I have disabled it. Now I don't think anybody can do this. Yeah. I don't think anybody can type now. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying was, you can draw a triangle You can draw an angle and bisect the angle, and you will get this distance is equal to this distance. What I want to prove is that this distance is equal to this distance. You can do it by congruency, because notice this, in this triangle, since this angle is equal to this angle, the bisected angles, and one angle is 90, one angle is 90, these are both similar triangles, right? Similar triangles, right? Because two angles are same, so similar triangles, and also one side is common, right? This side is common to both ones. So since it is common, the ratio of similarity is 1:1. So that means it is a congruent triangle, right? So since it is congruent triangle, we can say that this perpendicular distance is equal to this, right? So what I want to say is that whenever you draw an angle bisector, any point on the angle bisector is going to be equidistant from the two sides, right, which make up the angle. These distances are going to be equal, right? So that is very useful, because in a triangle, if I draw two angle bisectors, this is a bisector, this is a bisector, you will know that this point is special because this point lies on the first bisector of angle B here. Therefore, it is equidistant from AB and AC. So point I is equidistant from AB and AC, and also I also lies on the other bisector. So it is also equidistant from A. Okay, I meant first here AB and BC, right? And after that, you can say that I lies on this bisector, so it is equidistant from AB and AC, right? Therefore, you can say that I point is equidistant from all the three sides. Equidistant from all sides, AB, AC, and BC, right? And that just means that I is the center of a circle which can be drawn, which touches all the three sides, right? So I becomes your in center, and the radius circle is called the in radius. Small r is called the in radius. Now, what we need to do here is figure out a couple of things. Like, can we find out the formula for the in radius easily? That is what we want to find out. And there are 2-3 versions of the formula that we will see. So delta by S is one version. That is a very easy proof, delta by S. So if there is an I point here, which is in center, what we can say is let's join these three. Let's join these three. And you can say that this is a perpendicular, this is a perpendicular, and this is a perpendicular, and each of them is R, R, R. So you can say triangle ABC is made up of triangle AIB plus BIC plus AIC. And each triangle's area, you can say, is half into R into A plus half into R into B plus half into R into C is equal to delta. And delta will be equal to now half R into A plus B plus C, and A plus B plus C is 2S. So half R into 2S, and this becomes R into S, right? So you get R is equal to delta by S. So that is one version of the formula. Can you also show me the other version of this formula? Okay, if you want to understand this, it is very simple. Like you are saying that this is A, this is B, and this is C. This side length BC is called A, right? And this side length is called B, and this side length is called C. So notice that the triangle is made up of three smaller triangles, right? This triangle, and this triangle, right? S is semi-perimeter. S is 2S is equal to A plus B plus C, right? S is A plus B plus C by 2, right? So you can say that the area of the whole triangle, the big triangle, delta, is equal to half into area of this triangle. Heron's formula wala S, yes. So delta is the area of the big triangle, and that is equal to triangle BIC plus triangle AIB plus triangle AIC. So what is area of BIC? Area of BIC is half into base into height. Base is A height is r, half into a into r plus half into a in b into r and half into c into r will come, no? And when you take half r common, you'll get a plus b plus c, which is equal to 2s. So you'll get delta is equal to r into s, right? Delta is the area of the biggest triangle. That is your Heron's formula. In any triangle, delta is area of the biggest triangle, ABC, right? And what we have gotten right now is delta is equal to r into s, where r is the radius of the in circle and s is the semi-perimeter, right? This is one formula. However, you need to know one more version at least. You need to be able to prove that it is equal to 4r sine b by 2, sine a by 2, sine b by 2, sine c by 2, right? And there is another version actually. This only comes from a sine b by 2, sine c by 2 by cos a by 2. So what I will show you is the other two versions and how you get them. So notice this triangle. Guys, the point of the class right now is not to learn the formula. The point of the class is to understand the methods by which we are getting it. Okay. So don't focus on the formulas so much. Formulas are there in any book. You can look at it. Just understand how we are getting it. Because in properties of triangle and in triangle geometry, there will be 20, 30 formulas. Many more formulas will be there and theorems will be there. What is important for you to understand is when the problem comes, how will you decide which thing to use, right? How will you decide which particular thing will you use? So what you need to understand is the logic behind it. Once you know that yourself properly and derive all of these things yourself, the whole questions will become much easier. So normally, no, that is what I'm saying. There are too many formulas to remember. The derivations are, however, not too many. Everything comes from sine rule and cosine rule. So focus on the derivations. So what I want to say is, somebody asks you right now, ABC is a triangle. Prove that this R is equal to 4R sine A by 2, sine B by 2, sine C by 2, right? If I want to prove this, right? So one version is very easy. One version of this proof is by just straight bashing and remembering many formulas. The version that I'm talking about is use this. Sine A by 2 is S minus B, S minus C by BC, right? Use these formulas and keep multiplying. Eventually, hopefully, you will get something, right? And you have to eventually use this also. Delta is equal to RS, right? So sine A by 2, sine B by 2, sine C by 2, you can put those formulas here, no? And delta is equal to RS. So then you might be able to prove this, right? After some manipulations, yes. Capital R is the circumradius, right? And you will have to use sine rule also somewhere, I think. A by sine A is equal to B by sine B is equal to C by sine C is equal to 2 capital R. So you can use sine rule also and all these three things and to prove this, right? However, what we want to do is a slightly different thing. We want to do it in a way that adds some intuition for us also, some understanding of why this is happening, right? So just pay attention to this. Uh, Pay attention here what I'm saying. So this is the in center and I have drawn an angle like this, right? Angle bisector. That is how I constructed my in center, right? So this is half half, right? This angle will be b by 2. This angle will be b by 2, correct? And similarly, this angle bisector also is there. So this is c by 2 and this is c by 2, right? Now, this is my R, this is perpendicular. Now let's focus on this. So can we make this BD? What is this BD and what is this CD? Let's try to figure out that, right? So if you think about it, you will realize that R, like R by BD is what? Tan B by 2, right? tan b by 2 is equal to r by bd, right? Correct. What is your question, Usoshi Chakravarti? Tan c by 2 is equal to r by cd, right? So bd and cd can be written as r cot v. Some people have already said r cot v by 2 and cd is equal to r tan cot c by 2, right? Now you can say that BD plus CD is equal to BC. So BC is equal to BD plus CD. What things are going above your head? You have to say specifically what is the doubt, right? Don't say some things are going above the head. Just say what is the problem. Can we derive Stewart's theorem using Heron's formula? I will derive Stewart's theorem for you before the class ends. Don't worry about it. What is the other question? By Heron's formula, I don't think I have seen a proof. If you know a proof, you can tell me, but I don't use Heron's formula to derive Stewart's theorem. I use cosine rule. Okay. If anybody has any specific doubt, please ask. Otherwise, I'm going to continue. How can you relate area by length ratio? If the triangles are similar, area ratio is equal to length ratio squares. Can we say sine theta plus cos theta is equal to 1? What? Okay. Okay, I will just continue with what I want to teach right now. S is semi-perimeter, dude, Mr. Ganesh. S is semi-perimeter. Everyone knows that by now. You should also know it. Okay. Okay, I'll just continue right now. So BC is equal to BD plus CD, and BC is called A. So A is equal to, you get R by tan B by 2 plus R by tan C by 2, right? Because BD was R cot and CD was R cot. So I'm just writing R cot as R by 10 plus R by 10. And I'm adding and I'm saying BC is BD plus CD. So you get this. And now you can say that A is equal to R 1 by tan B by 2 plus 1 by tan C by 2. And therefore, what we are getting from here is a version of R. We are saying A by 1 by tan B by 2 plus 1 by tan C by 2, right? Great. How is this useful? We will just say A by, convert tan to sine and cos. So like you can write it as cos B by 2 by sine B by 2, cos B by 2 by sine B by 2 plus cos C by 2 by sine C by 2, right? And this becomes A sine B by 2 sine C by 2 divided by sine B by sine C by 2 cos B by 2 plus cos C by 2 sine B by 2, right? I'm just doing simplifications, nothing much I'm doing. I'm just saying A is equal to BD plus CD. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, किसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? What is not, what is it that you're not understanding? Whoever is asking. Somebody is saying Rubik's Cube. What is wrong with you guys? Usoshi Chakravarti is going on about Rubik's Cube right now. Okay. Yeah. So people, you guys know, some of you have understood that this part here will become A sine B by 2 sine C by 2 divided by sine of B plus C by 2. And B plus C by 2 is 90 minus A by 2, right? Sine 90 minus A by 2 is cos A by 2. So we have gotten this version right now by cos A by 2. There is no pattern. You don't have to memorize it. What I'm saying is understand what we did. What I'm doing is I'm saying that if there is a triangle like this, I'm just revising. Everyone who has not understood, please pay attention. This is a triangle. This is my in center. I am dropping a perpendicular from here. This is my R, right? These are angle bisectors. You know that these are angle bisectors. That is how we constructed our in centers. So this is B by 2. This is C by 2. This point is labeled BD. So BD plus CD is equal to BC, right? BC is called A, and BD can be written as R cot B by 2 plus R cot C by 2. After you simplify, you can take R common and divide A by cot B by 2 plus cot C by 2. After you simplify this a little bit using basic trigonometry, you will get A sine B by 2 sine C by 2 by cos A by 2. This is what you get. And now what we'll do is we'll simply prove this by sine rule. We'll say A by sine A is equal to 2R by sine rule, where R is capital R here is circumradius, right? So therefore, what you will get is A is equal to 2R sine A. So I will put that here. I'll put that here. So what you will get 2 capital R sine A and then sine B by 2 sine C by 2 divided by cos A by 2, right? And then sine A double angle formula is equal to 2 sine A by 2 cos A by 2. So what will happen when you divide by cos A by 2 here? This will cancel, right? This will cancel. One cos will cancel and it will become 4 capital R sine A by 2 sine B by 2 sine C by 2, right? So what we have proved here is R is equal to 4 capital R, this thing, right? This is very important. You need to know multiple versions of your formula. So if I had more time, I would have shown you another version, S tan A by 2 also. Actually, I will show you just now. S minus A tan A by 2. Okay, this version also you need to know. These are multiple versions of the same formula, but you need to know it because of the logic behind it. So think about it. If there is a triangle here, ABC, this is in center, right? Now, let's think of the circle here. The circle I have drawn, okay? Now, circle is here. So obviously there is a point here D, there is a point here E, and there is a point here C. These are the points where the circle touches the triangle, right? D, E, and C are the points where circle touches the triangle, right? Okay. Now, think of it. There is a point B here from where you have drawn tangents to the circle, right? So some people have understood what I'm going to show right now. It is about points of tangency. Small a is the side length. Small a is the whole side length, right? So we can say that on the circle, on the in circle, on the circle, BD and BE are tangents. BD should be equal to BE, right? BD should be equal to BE because from a point outside the circle, you can draw equal tangents to a circle, right? From an external point, the two tangents that you will draw to a circle will always be equal in length. That is another circle theorem. So once you get equal lengths here and here, you can also show equal lengths here and here, right? CD will be equal to, I should label it as FCF, right? And similarly, AE will be equal to AF, right? Somebody is saying pilot. It is not pilot, it's pitot, I think. But don't worry about the names of the theorems. Uh, uh, it's not pilot theorem. I don't think it is called pilot theorem. So just don't worry about the names here. What you know is that these lengths are equal, right? BD is equal to BE, CD is equal to CF, AE is equal to AF, right? Now let's call these lengths as X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, right? So it will become 2x plus 2y plus 2z is equal to the whole perimeter, right? 2x plus 2y plus 2z, can you say that it is the whole perimeter? Correct, because it is AB plus BC plus CA, right? So that can be called as 2s, right? Perimeter is 2s, not 4s, right? So you'll get x plus y plus z is equal to s, right? X plus y plus z is equal to s. That is very nice, because now notice that what was x plus y? X plus y was equal to a. Can you see from the figure that x plus y is a, right? And similarly, x plus z was b, right? X plus z was b. So, and y plus z was c. So now you can say that z is equal to s minus a. You can also say that x is equal to s minus x is equal to s minus c. No, s minus b actually, right? Z plus x is b, so y is equal to s minus b. It doesn't matter. I will get this as x minus s minus b and this as s minus c and stuff. So I will just draw a different figure. It is becoming very complicated there. So what I'm saying is, this is my circle A, B, C, and this point is D, this point is E, this point is F. You can prove that this distance is s minus b, this is s minus b, this distance is s minus c, this distance is s minus c, right? And this is my in center. Now notice that you can write a triangle like this, triangle BID. Triangle BID, right? Please teach us how to make the figure so fast. The figure so fast, dude. If you teach for 1 or 2 years and make the figures again and again, you will also make very fast figures. Don't worry about it. Triangle BID. In this triangle BID, what will happen? This is R, right? And this is angle B by 2. So just say tan B by 2 is equal to what? R by BD. And we just now figured out that R by BD is what? S minus A, right? S minus B, right? BD was S minus B, we have figured out. So we get R is equal to S minus B tan B by 2. Similarly, you can show that it is S minus A tan A by 2. So this is the third formula that I had written. What is not important is memorizing formulas. What is important is knowing what happened and how you got this. If you know these proofs, right, and we will come to more detailed proofs when we do orthocenter. So when we do orthocenter, we'll come to many nice proofs. But here, knowing the proofs solves your problems, because in problems you will not be told ki right now use this particular formula or that particular result. So once repeated briefly, can you teach IOQM specific? This is all IOQM relevant. This is going to be there in RMO, PRMO, everything. So don't worry about what we are doing right now. We have found out these three things. So I will do Stewart's theorem right now, because otherwise people will kill me. I don't do Stewart's theorem before. In center we have done. Previous slide. Previous slide there is nothing. I just told you what there is, right? All of these derivations are there in SL Loney. All of these are in SL Loney. What you have to do is chapter 15 and chapter 12. Okay. So anybody who wants more help on these topics, just do chapter 12, chapter 15, SL Loney. If you have doubts, reach out to me. Okay. When you start doing the exercise, especially exercise 37, you will realize where you are at, how much in water you are. Exercise 37 of SL Loney is probably the most difficult exercise for properties of triangle. So just try that. You will realize everything there. DPP, why are you asking for DPP, dude? I'm telling you in the book, no, the chapters. I'm telling you the exercise number also. What else do you want? Right? So Stewart's theorem, guys, before too long. So this is ABC. Make a line like this. This is AD. People want to find out the length of AD, right? Stewart's theorem tells us how to find the length of AD, right? So what is the information that is present in Stewart's theorem? You need to know how the line AD or a Chevian divides the opposite side. So you need to know what is this BD, and let's call it M, and what is this CD, let's call it N. So AD is a random line, correct? AD can be any line, doesn't matter. What you need to know is BD portion and CD portion, right? And AB is called C and AC is called B, and this whole BC is called A. Now we want to find length of AD, and let's call it D, right? So the way I do it, the way I do Stewart's theorem is by cosine rule. And I don't know about some people. Some people are saying there is a pure geometry proof, but I have not seen it. So I'll tell you what I know. What you will do is cosine rule here. This triangle ABD, right? Triangle ABD. What is this angle? Theta. Let's write cos theta. Cos theta will be equal to m square plus d square minus c square by 2md, right? And what is this? Everyone knows the result, dude. Man plus dad is CNC plus BMB. But how does it come? That is the point. Remembering the result is not all there is. So this angle, look at this angle. This angle is 180 minus theta, right? So in triangle ADC, I will do cosine rule on that angle. Cos 180 minus theta will be equal to n square plus d square cosine rule. See how I am applying cosine rule? N square plus d square minus b square by 2nd, right? Now this cos 180 minus theta can be written as minus cos theta. So this is equal to n square plus d square minus b square by 2nd, and minus cos theta I will use from here. So I will write it as m square plus d square minus c square by 2md is equal to minus of this is equal to n square plus d square minus b square by 2nd. 2d will cancel. You will take common stuff on the other side. Because cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. That is why it's working out. And once you take everything on the other side, you will get, what is the formula you have written on top? How has this come? This is cosine rule. This is cosine rule, which is true for any angle, not just for a acute angle triangle. And we have proved that cosine rule in the class before. So you can watch the recordings later. You will find the proof. Okay. And once we simplify now, you will be able to collect terms and prove that MAN, dad plus man, is equal to CNC plus BMB. CNC plus BMB is equal to dad plus man. You will be able to prove because you have M plus N is equal to A. Just work out the proof. It's a little bit of algebra, nothing major. Like it's obvious stuff. So you will be able to find the length of any line AD through this, right? Once more, sir, pronunciation was nice. What pronunciation? Can you unmute me for a second? Okay, who wants to be unmuted? Prime, can you BMB CNC वाला एक बार बोलो ना, sir? I don't know what you're talking about. We have already discussed Stewart's theorem, okay? So I'm not going to spend time on it. If everyone has doubts, you can ask me doubts. I have got to cover orthocenter. I have to cover Euler line. I have to cover Simpson line and stuff I can cover. So there are some theorems that are left, okay? So I will probably do it in the next class. This class is about triangle geometry. I'm not going to do Pappus's theorem and stuff here. Triangle geometry and inversion and all I'll not do right now. It is not geometry, it's triangle geometry. right? Formula of formula of Stewart's theorem is this: CNC plus BMB is dad plus man. Area theorem. My channel's name is Shishya Learning. Shishya Learning, and you can contact me through there on YouTube. Okay. You can contact me there, and this level of trigonometry is important for KVPY. It is important for all the exams. It is important for JEE. It is important for KVPY. It is important for IOQM and RMO and INMO. If you realize, like any higher level exam, if you see, right, any higher level exam, even the Olympiad exams, right, the higher levels you go INMO questions and all, when you see solutions for those questions, you will realize that there will be a pure geometry solution and there will also be a bashing method of solution. So the reason we are doing trigonometry is because not everybody will be able to think of a pure geometry solution everywhere, right? It is harder to think of a pure geometry solution. Once you are good in trigonometry, you will be able to get this solution very easily. Correct. So in order to get good at trigonometry, you should do SL Loni chapter 12 and chapter 15. There is no full form of CNC and BNB. C and C, these are sides, dude. This is just to remember. Barycentric coordinates is not relevant for you right now. Don't try to learn barycentric coordinates for IOQM. Barycentric coordinates, the only place I have seen used are IMO and all. Like if you are in your maths camp, then probably you need barycentric coordinates. But right now it's not important. Ivan Chen's book has a nice discussion on barycentric coordinates. You can look at Ivan Chen's geometry. But it is too tough, guys. You cannot do EGMO right now. So everyone who has heard of these books, right? All of you have heard of so many books, but don't try to do all of these books right now. Like you have to start from some base. Yufei Zhao, like लोग को सबको नाम पता है, सब बस नाम बस बता रहे हैं. Yufei Zhao के notes पढ़ेंगे. अभी IOQM पहले clear कर लो. मतलब seriously, you know, guys, Yufei Zhao वाले notes अभी मुझे समझ में नहीं आते हैं ठीक से. So when I understand it, probably like like EGMO book, first 4-5 chapters you can do. First 4-5 chapters you can do, but it will be super hard. Like it's not easy. Don't try to do this right now. Do trigonometry, SL Loni, do Pathfinder, senior Pathfinder examples. These are the things that are important for you right now. Don't do Yufei Zhao handouts right now. Don't try EGMO at home. You can try it. First couple of chapters and all are fine. It will be very tough though. All of these books are available online, dude. Like, why are you not able to find? You can message me. I'll send you the books. EGMO and all of them are available. All of these books you can find. Yeah. Or whoever has doubts, they can ask me. Methods of Olympiad Number Theory is a very nice book, but I think, I mean, it's fine. I think you can use that for number theory. There's no problem. SL Loni share kar do, please, sir. Normally, what classes? 1 second, guys. Wait. One by one. Normally, what classes do SL Loni Pathfinder Senior? SL Loni you should do. You can do whenever you can. Like you should start whenever you can. Like you don't have to do the entire book. Like you have to do selected chapters from it. For Olympiads, I would recommend do the first 4, 5, 6 chapters for basic geometry and then do chapter 12 and chapter 15. First 4, 5 chapters for basic trigonometry and then chapter 12 and chapter 15. Don't spend time doing anything else. T2 Diophantine equations. Diophantine equations, T2 Andrescu's book will be too tough, I think. I mean, I have not tried it, but I feel like it will be too tough for you guys right now. Hall and Knight, obviously do it. Pathfinder Junior versus Senior. I have only used Senior. I have not seen the Junior. Sir, please unmute me once. 1 second. Just type whatever you have here. Type whatever questions you have here. Bernard and Child is good. So can we have which? No, PJ sir is okay and appropriate for us. Senior is tough. I mean, then if you already know it is okay, you should not ask me. No, just chill then. Sir, please give your number. Problem Primer is a very good book. Problem Primer is a very good book. You can contact me on this number. This is my number. Prime is just helping his brotherhood here. He's telling for others. Nice. Prime is in a very giving mood. Good. Which books are recommended by me? So for me, like in geometry, what you should do is geometry. I would recommend know your 10th grade geometry properly. 10th grade geometry properly, and then go to SL Noni for trigonometry, chapter 12, 15. If you are done with triangle geometry, SL Noni is only for the triangle geometry part, triangles part. Once you are done with that, you can look at Pathfinder Senior. Pathfinder Senior. You can also look at first 3 chapters, first 4 chapters of EGMO. There is also a very nice book, Secrets of Triangles by Alfred S. Posamentier. Secrets of Triangles. It's a very nice book. It is a good book to read. Alfred S. Posamentier. So all these books are, by the way, available on Library Genesis. So you can find these books. Coordinate bash and stuff is good. Okay for Geo. Yeah, it's okay. Most people cannot think of synthetic solutions in the beginning. So you should be able to get a solution first. After you're getting some solution, after that, later with more experience, you will get better at synthetic solutions. Also, one more book is very good for geometry. It is a handout which is available freely. It is called A Beautiful Introduction to Olympiad Geometry. Beautiful Introduction to Olympiad Geometry. I am forgetting the name of the guy right now, but if you search for this online, no, just search for this online on Google, you will get the handout. It's a very good book. You should read this book for sure. Like, it is more important than EGMO also. Like, EGMO is way tougher. This beautiful introduction book, no, it is going to be at your level. You can understand it. Stefan Lozanovsky or someone, I think, if I don't remember. AOPS Intro to Geometry is very good. AOPS Intro to Geometry is good, no issues. 1 second. I cannot unmute. Let me just check what is happening. Ananta Sur, I have to unmute. Huh? 1 second.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm in class 6, so I would like to, I would like to, if you would suggest some books for me. Sir, my progress in geometry is AOPS Intro to Geometry and Yale University. I'm thinking of going to Challenge and Thrill. Sir, can you please suggest me?
So find this book, this beautiful introduction to Olympiad geometry. Okay.
Okay, sir. And in number theory, I have done AOPS intro to number
Yeah, yeah.
theory.
One second. Somebody has a beautiful journey through Olympiad geometry. P.B. Chaudhary has read the name, correct name. Yes, that book. That is a very good book. Please, everyone download it and read it. What is the name of the author there? Can someone find the name of the author? Lozanovsky or someone, I don't remember. A beautiful journey through Olympiad geometry. For number theory and all, AOPS books are fine. AOPS books are fine, number theory. Stephen Lozanovsky, yes. I have shared my number already, guys. What else? Any other doubts? What is the theorem that you want to confirm, Amesh Sharma? You can confirm it on Google, no, dude. Like, why are you confirming with me? What is the theorem that you want to confirm? Class is over. I'm just waiting for everyone if you have any questions. Class is over, guys. I will do ortho center and I'll do some other theorems in the next class. Library Genesis. Library Genesis is the website. gen.lib.rust.ec. Okay. Can you give mock papers for IOQM?